Hello, everybody, and welcome to Problem Solve Her, your favorite new podcast.
Woo!
Woo! I'm your co-host, Chloe, along with my girl,
Ma,
Daggylicious is in the hizzy house.
who's
So
he have?
growing up, my friends would say Chloe instead
Like
of Chloe
French?
because it's really a French name. Chloe. Well, I was born, now my age is going to come out. I was actually born before that perfume came out. My parents were way ahead of the times. Chloe perfume became a thing in the 80s. Oliver seems to think so as well. Ladies and gents, we are two women just sharing our stories and our experiences, and we have on some awesome men and women. I'm saying men first this time because 25. And on TikTok at the Chutzpah Girl, 65%
I don't
of
want to
my
know
viewers
why.
are men.
I don't know
65.
want to know why.
65. And I'm not even being risque. I'm just being me. And I think that it's like an error right now that's happening. And I'm seeing this all over social media specifically, where men just don't understand women. And there's all these young guys. It's really funny. These young influencers and they're content creators that are in their 20s saying, all right, ladies, this is what we wanted. And I mean, God bless them, but what does a 25-year-old know that what a 40-something-year-old woman wants? And I think it's interesting because as people evolve, they change. That guy's going to change what he thinks in 3 years anyway, but it's cute. It's cute for now. So what are we talking about today, Delicious?
Effective stress management.
Yeah.
And effective for a reason, because stress management can just be you manages your stress, right? So, but effective means you create less stress and more health, more quiet time, more balance, more peace. So I thought about, as I prepared the topic for today, for me, really effective stress management is that I'm first aware of what creates stress for me. Is it something emotionally, like what I'm perhaps the future, where we don't know what's coming? Is it a project deadline? Is it that one of my furry babies are not feeling good, right? So first, it helps me to be effective to identify what is it, what creates the stress for me. And then is it real or is it something what I'm telling myself, but it's not there yet. Perhaps it never happens. So that helps me to differentiate, should I worry about it or not? So if it's something what didn't happen yet and it's perhaps never happening, right? Then I really have the ability to let it go, to decide I let it go because I want to focus on positive, not on negative emotions. And if that's something what is real, like a little one is sick, or I'm experience health issues, or I have a deadline and I only have 2 hours left and the chaos broke out in my house and I'm concerned I don't make it. So then I set priorities. What's the most important? Can I move the deadline? Can I speak with the client? Or if I have to do it, what can I skip right now where I still can feel good about it? Like, I don't know. Do I have to do the dishes right now? Do I have to do the laundry right now? Can I do it later? So I'm using my logic, because if I would allow my emotions take over, it would stress me more.
I think that one of the first things you said goes back to this age-old thing called the fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that stresses us out in general, right? Let's just go through the big things that everyone can relate to. A relationship ending, a relationship starting, moving, starting a new job, mourning a death, getting a new pet, having a child, going through perimenopause, all these things, right? Those are stresses that we know are coming and they're actually happening, right? So when I say they, the top experts in the world, psychologists and sociologists, therapists say that when you move, it's one of the most stressful times in your entire life
I heard that.
because everything is changing. You could be moving two houses down the street. It's about the change and it's the overwhelmingness of packing and getting everything together. And did I forget anything? And something new is happening and there's a chapter in my life. So the two biggest stresses in terms of that I can remember growing up is one, when my parents sold the house in New York on Long Island
Mhm.
where I grew up. I literally can tell you right now, it's so vivid in my brain and I have dreams about it all the time, that my dad works a deal, because he's very convincing like me, with the new owners that we can move out whenever we want. It's contingent upon whenever we want to leave. I have this dream like every quarter. And I go, Dad, how come we're still in this house? Like, what's going on here? And he's like, I'm not ready yet. I mean, this is what happened. And they told me want to leave. And, they already paid for the house and we go when we go. And I'm like, what? So I can remember my dad and I, all the boxes were being, whatever they sold like their cars, and everything else was shipped to Jamaica, where, my parents were going to be living full time. I was still living in New York and so was Dylan. I didn't move back to Jamaica yet. And there was the last box, my dad and I, like everything was done. And I remember taking these pillows, these down feather pillows. I'm like, I want these in my room in Jamaica. And we went, boop, and we're like, okay, the guys, they're coming in the morning. We were like, it was like midnight. It's dark out. It was in the spring. And I'm like, that's the last box. And he's like, that's it. And I don't know where Dylan or my mom was. And we got in my dad's Mercedes. And I'm saying Mercedes because he has only driven Mercedes. He loves Mercedes. And it was a big car. Then it was called the S550. And it was like you could fit a party in the back seat. And I remember getting in the car and there was a bunch of stuff in the back seat that were my parents, just things we're bringing on the plane. I was actually going to Jamaica with them for a month, just as a transition. And I never saw his car like that because there was almost so much room in it. And it was all packed up with all the bags that were going to Jamaica. And I went, oh my God, this relief of stress had come off of our shoulders because the packing was done. But it wasn't like moving to another state or 10 blocks away. It's moving to a third world country that right now is about to get hit by a massive hurricane. And I'm praying for all my friends and family in Jamaica, and that the Blue Mountains blows it all the way west and that they're not devastated because they don't have the infrastructure. So please, John, no, protect them. And then the second time was when my parents sold the house in Jamaica, which I thought was never going to happen. It was like, this was going to be forever. And I would scream up and down. And it came to the point after COVID where my parents decided they wanted first world healthcare again and certain things. And it was a very large property and home. And they were just like, we don't want to do this anymore. We don't want to, you know, manage people that are working here. And every single day was, it became too much. And that was so overwhelming. Dagmar, to put it into perspective, this is not a joke because I convinced them to let me bring my things here also. There were 305 boxes.
Oh my God.
That's between small, medium, and large that had to be packed. Can you imagine like
No.
the massive capacity of all that? And this is down to every little thing because it was being shipped overseas and they did it by weight. That's how they charge you, by weight. God forbid anything that was like a family heirloom or my great grandmother's china from Japan and England, which I have. You don't want anything to break. The way that the guys did it was, and Jamaicans are very resourceful to, down to like this pen right here, right? That was extremely stressful for my parents, for myself, and then having my parents move here. So I know stress that you're talking about on levels where we're predicting it. We know it's going to happen. It's a part of life. We're going to a doctor's appointment you don't want to go to, but everything is rooted and based in fear.
We would like to take a moment in this episode to thank our sponsors. Palm Beach Dog Academy is located right here in the heart of sunny South Florida. Founded by Jeff Nelson, who did his training at the Harvard of Dog Training Academies at the Tom Rose School in Missouri. I can say firsthand that Jeff not only has the credentials and the experience, he knows how to train dogs properly. He trained my beloved Oscar, our furry favorite guy who lived till 19 years of age. For more information about Jeff's packages and his academy, please visit palmbeachdogacademy.com.
So the stresses of the unknown, right? Where we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
You're someone who's so regimented and controlled of your surroundings that you need to see into the future and need to know what's going to happen in 2 years from now. I used to be like that at certain times of my life, but then I would spin my wheels. And now I would say the last, I want to say 5, maybe 7 years, I'm trying to be the person that lives in the actual moment and would like to predict maybe some things that will happen in the future, but I can't, I won't stay in a state of the fear of the unknown because we've all been there and it's a scary place to be in your mind because you don't have control over it.
Right.
And a lot of people have the fears and we're all going through it now, especially we don't talk politics on here, but what's going on in the world and with money and all these different things. And it's kind of a time where it could be tumultuous and people are a little worried. So I have those moments and I get up in the middle of the night with that. But I think the best way to manage properly these types of stressors is to find out what the trigger is. Like you said, why am I worried about money? Why am I worried about getting older? Why am I worried about Oliver when we're in the street and I'm like a psycho helicopter mom because the cars are, and I just see like dog moms and dads, they're like having conversations in the street with the dogs like laying on the ground. I'm like, what? So I think we need to be able to process it and find a way to work through those stressors and the triggers and to do something that makes us feel good to relieve some of that, like taking a walk, meditating. I might have my favorite glass of wine. I haven't had any in 10 days because I've been all under the weather, but maybe I'll have one later. And surround yourself with people that help take the stress away. Don't surround yourself with people that bring the stress on.
I love that, what you just shared. And yeah, I'm working on being in the present too.
I'm not saying it is a negative.
So that the thinking, like I would love to have 80% being in the present, 19% being in the future. And I still like to think emotionally positively about my past, like about the beautiful things what happened in my
Oh,
past, which
absolutely.
I'm still enjoying.
Well,
What
sorry,
you
go ahead.
said, I think it's so true that stress is fear driven. No matter if it's a deadline, what happens if I don't make the deadline, right? My work deadline, what are the consequences of it? What happens if I have health issues? What happens with my job, my family, my animals, my finances? So you're totally right. Like it's fear driven that I cannot control the consequences of the stress, not just being fearful of the unknown, but also plus or additionally, the, how can I deal with the consequences of that if I fail?
Hmm.
So I think it's a fear of failure and the fear of unknown, and then the consequences. So how do you deal with it?
Well, I want to touch on a couple of things that you just said because I agree with, I mean, listen, nobody can live 100% in the right now. I mean, the Dalai Lama and like Mother Teresa, maybe, right? Because we're just humans and we're triggered by our past. What I try to do is, and I'm like my dad, I'm a very nostalgic person. I made before my parents moved, I'm going to cry right now because my dad was like weeping and he doesn't cry often, but it's called the Floria Family Album. And I made a photo album by hand with this really beautiful paper and I strung it together by these really cool ribbons. And it was photos of like growing up and like all different family members and places we had been. And I just wrote like a quote under every single one of them. And I wanted my parents to take it to Jamaica. So it was like a really good memory book of like New York and everything just growing up there. And I sometimes, when I get caught up in a moment or I need a little guidance, I will go over and I'll take the book out and I'll look through it. And I used to do that in Jamaica for years, or I would catch my dad like and like looking at it just like on a Saturday night, having a glass of wine because it holds so much weight. I think it's okay to in the think when I think of something negative that comes up from my past or something a trauma or that really affected me negatively,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying I'm a guru because I'm nothing close to that, but because I am so strong mentally and I believe in myself so much, I have the capacity. I'm not saying I could always do this, but I can do this now where I can turn it off. Literally, a thought will come in and it's something that was so hurtful and so negative and so traumatizing. I go, no. And I can immediately switch to something positive because I won't allow those old thought processes and feelings of something that happened to me 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, or a relationship that didn't turn out well. I'm like, what was I think of something in a moment that someone did to me or that my parents maybe had done or a vision I had from like, no, out, bye, because it doesn't serve me as a
Right.
grown woman now. But when we think of the positive, like you said, where you were growing up and you and your sisters were running around outside and it was like, oh my God, we're just free. We're here. Like we don't have to worry about anything. Those are the moments to look back on. I think about when because I haven't seen snow in years. I was just saying this, I don't even remember snow. But growing up, and this doesn't happen anymore because of global warming, we would have these snowstorms and I would turn the little TV on in my room and it would say the schools that were closed. And tomorrow the school's closed. And we're like, please, please, please. And my dad would tie the tube from our boat on the back of the car and we would hitch and he would drive down the street in the car and would be going on and we would sketch on the back of the car and just sit there in this tube like it was so cool and just go down the street and people would be skiing, right? Just down with like on skis going down the street. Those are the things that we want to remember because it reminds us that we did grow up okay and everything's going to work out.
Right.
If that makes sense.
So here, effective stress management. Watch Hallmark Christmas movies.
Love it. I put 3 in my queue last night. I thought of you. I was on Hulu and I was like, I've seen everything on Netflix and Prime and all these Christmas movies, these Lifetime Christmas movies and Hallmark Christmas movies. I started watching one. My favorite Christmas movie, I'm sure you've seen it. It's every year I have to watch it. Love Actually, because it's you've never seen Love Actually? It's a holiday movie. No. Tonight you will watch that. Love Actually. You can get it on anything. And The Night Before Christmas, Miracle on 34th Street. And then I see what like cheesy new Hallmark and Lifetime ones, they start right after Thanksgiving. What about you?
I watch everything. The spirit combined with the faith.
Yeah.
And combined with the enlightened hearts and the warmth of the Christmas season. I think that's what just lifts up my spirits and helps me to believe and I can get over that. I don't need to focus on that. I just take action to move forward because there's always something better waiting if you want it, if you want to focus on it.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Cafe Bastille originated in Miami, now has a location in downtown Fort Lauderdale for almost 2 years. Located steps from Las Solas and sitting on the canal, I can personally say I frequent there often. Their lattes are wonderful, hot or cold. The velvet pancakes just melt in your mouth. The pommes frites are on point, and the bottomless mimosas for brunch all day long are absolutely fabulous. For more information, please go to cafebastilledowntown.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The holiday season is a great time of the year. It also is like, okay, a new year is coming. So I celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah. So for me, it kicks off, I love Thanksgiving because you're giving thanks for all your loved ones and for being alive and what the pilgrims did for us and what Thanksgiving represents. And I love that. And to be around people and eating and drinking. And then Christmas and Hanukkah growing up was so awesome, celebrating everything. And then it represents a new year is coming and it gives us a chance to reset and to really think about what we want without being stressed, right? Because it's the holiday season and you're kind of in the zone and you're just being around people you love and thinking about what's important. And that's a great time to de-stress. Too many people focus on stress during the holidays. No, think about de-stressing and how much fun you're going to have. And if you don't want to be around some people, then don't be around them.
Right. So I will use as the one message we want to share at the end of the episode. So where I'm coming from my culture, next to your faith, there's also the belief in the old spirits, right? So it's the winter time for us was something you wanted that the old spirits leave so the new spirits could come in, right? Like spring, right? So the winter is something, a quieter season, a season where you go more inwards, right? With nature. And then spring was an awakening. And from a cultural perspective, like from just where I come from, it was like to let go of the old and to welcome the new. And I think effective stress management, coming back to our topic, is also seeing it as an opportunity to grow, right? And to become a better person and to have the opportunity to learn how to handle it or to deal in a more positive, in a better way for you, so that next time, and in my belief, we get situations in life to grow from. So when the big situation come, that you're prepared for it. How about you?
Absolutely. No, I'm thinking about what you're saying. My message is this.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe in who you are deep down inside, you truly know yourself, because a lot of people don't. They don't want to go there. That's why they don't want to hang out alone. They have to be around people all the time. If you truly know who you are and you believe in you, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we'll all work out. I truly believe that to my core. If you're putting out constant positivity, even though you're stressed and things are going on around you, it's a boomerang effect. It's going to come back. Believe in you and always trust your gut.
That's beautiful.
We love you. We love and hear you. I just tried to say it all so fast.
Just a quick note before we end. This conversation is for inspiration and empowerment only. It's not medical, mental health, or legal advice. We are not doctors, therapists, or lawyers. Just women sharing real stories and personal truth. Always seek professional guidance for your unique situation.